Caelan. Just wondering, you mentioned the big week that it is for the RFU. How much does that impact on the week, and how meaningful is it to players?
Yeah, it's touched on quite a bit, the history, not just this week, but generally it's something that we talk about, the sort of the legacy of Irish rugby and how the success of teams in the past inspired us to play, and how we want to inspire the next generation through how we play. So it is talked about quite a bit. The jersey definitely means a lot to us, and it's a pretty cool one we get to wear this week. A little bit of a retro style to it, which would be nice. But it's important. It's an extra motivation for us, definitely.
Yeah. And you kind of touched on it, but like you suggested, like it's kind of this game will define this window for you. Like, how important is that to kind of finish on a high and carry some momentum into the Six Nations?
Yeah, it's huge. Like the first meeting when we came in this autumn was about continual growth and improvement, and players trying to take it to another level, and other teams are getting better. Like, you know, we're not playing South Africa, but you see their improvements over the year, and we need to be doing the same. And I think we probably, the first half against Argentina, we maybe showed that and showed it at times last week, but definitely need to show it again this week.
Derek?
How familiar are you and the team with the struggles that rugby union's been in Australia? Is it something that you guys are aware of or not?
Yeah, we haven't explicitly mentioned it this week, but yeah, I've been a little bit aware of it. But I think they've definitely improved a lot over the last season, as I mentioned earlier on. And yeah, what they're producing on the field has been good over the last number of weeks and months.
What do you see as something which is a real strength of the Wallabies?
Their attack. They're very passionate about their attack. I mentioned their kind of Joe Schmidt classic strike plays in breaking teams down in a number of phases, but they've got threats throughout. Like, they can attack the seam, they can go wide. Valentini has been impressive in his carrying, very direct. So yeah, their attack is probably their key weapon.
Derek?
Well, we've been edging around Joe Smith all week, but if I could throw a new idea on the subject of Joe Smith, and I don't want you to even talk about your current coach. Just Joe Smith seemed to bring a new work ethic into Irish rugby. Would you say he was a hard-working coach when he was here? A lot of people talk about the word detail around him, but did you find him, and I know you come from school and coach your Leinster and did you find that that's a fair comment, that his work ethic was off the wall? We used to get emails from him at 5 a.m. in the morning.
I think so. I think that's fair. I think the level of analysis he did was extremely in depth. He knew everything about every opposition player. This is all hearsay a little bit. I didn't have too many direct dealings with him, but I think he was pretty obsessed.
And do you think that that's a good character trait for Irish rugby? We do have a university-based team. You know, you got the odd farmer floating around, I would admit, but and the odd bloke from Mayo, I suppose. But anyway,
Who's that?
Do you think that he came at a good time in terms of development, the way the game was?
Yeah, I think so. I think if you want to be world class in any domain, you need to be pretty obsessed with it. You need to be working extremely hard, getting every 1% you can, whether it be in how you analyse opposition, how you train, how you recover, all these little bits. And I think he raised the bar across the board in terms of professionalism within the game in Ireland.
Thanks. Caelan mentioned.
Caelan, you started every test match this year. I think the only other two players to have done that are Andy Porter and John McCarthy. Obviously Joe is much newer to all of this, yourself and Andrew. Can you just talk a bit about what you've seen from him that's allowed him to become such an important part of this team so quickly?
I think when he first came into Leinster, you could see his athleticism, his physical prowess, obviously, and his love for the game. He's so enthusiastic, he's so exuberant around the place. But probably initially when he came in, he was a little bit raw and his discipline wasn't quite where it needed to be, and he was over-eager at times. But I think he's learned a ton around that and has improved that a lot, and he's a pretty polished player now. He's been class for us this year. Young player of the year last season, I think it was. He's again off the pitch. He's very popular as well amongst the squad. He's a good guy to have on our side.
Thanks, Sinead.
Caelan, do you think you mentioned there about being on alert, that you will have to be like mentally tuned in because you know what Joe's capable of? Think back to the World Cup, that Will Jordan try. that, you know, and they've got those kind of players as well in Australia to kind of strike.
Yeah, definitely. If you lose a second, if you're a little bit reactive or miss a moment, they can score a try 100%. Especially in and around the ruck, they've got lots of players there, so it's going to be important to be switched on all the time.
Thanks. Last question, Darren.
Yeah, Caelan, just I suppose just talk about what you expect, maybe the challenge you expect from the Australian back row. Obviously, they're kind of growing a lot of experience, I suppose, last one.
Yeah, Harry Wilson's obviously their captain. He's a pretty talismanic figure for them, I think. McBride has been class at 7. I think he's got a pretty varied skill set, lots of turnovers. Seems like a very good. He's kind of Michael Hooper-esque, I think, as a player. And then Ballatini, as I mentioned, very hard runner, big physical presence, hits hard. Yeah, I remember tackling him here back in 2022. He's a proper big man, like so he's a hard man to take down. So yeah, we'll have our hands full with the 3 of them.